Well, here we are again. The People's Democratic Party has lost some members. A prominent governor, one of the governors who attended the convention of the party in Ibadan, Oyo State, that is Governor Umaru Fintiris from the People's Democratic Party into the All Progressive Congress. Earlier, about 2 weeks ago, the governor had hosted the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in Yola, who commissioned some projects. And it was thought that it was at that meeting that the agreements and how the decamping would take place were agreed upon. And it was also said by some political analysts and observers of the state that the president had called the National Security Advisor, who has appeared to be the leader of the party in Adamawa State, and told him to work with the governor of the state, that is Umaru Fintiris, who was the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. And it was believed that it was agreed that, as it has happened in other states, that the National Security Advisor, that is the policeman or ex-policeman Nuhu Ribadu, will cede control of the state APC by 60% to the governor. The governor will bring his successor and will also bring a substantial number of the members of the National Assembly as well as some members of the State House of Assembly. Of course, the governor really did not have any option but to decamp, as it is now, because his party, the PDP, on whose platform he became Speaker of the State House of Assembly, acting governor, and had been governor for 2 tenures, had entered into a crisis which does not appear to be ending. The result of it is that if he had continued in the PDP, he might not be able to field candidates that will protect him, as Nigerian politicians will say, once he leaves office. The option of being in the African Democratic Congress, ADC, is actually not open for him because the ADC is headed by former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the relationship between the governor and the former Vice President, whose son is a commissioner in the government of Adamawa State, has not been a very cordial one, especially since the 2019 elections. So it is easy to see that the governor really had no option but the All Progressive Congress. That as it may, the fact also is that it has become a reality now that the APC has 30 governors, a feat which even the PDP at the height of its power did not have. And of course, as at today, the only states that are not under the control of the APC are Zamfara State, whose governor, Lawal Dauda, is also said to be in discussion with the president. But for the fact that the stakeholders of the APC in the state, as it happened in the case of Plateau State, are resisting the coming into the APC by the governor, or if the governor will enter the APC, he will only have to look out for himself. He will not be able to come in and dominate the party. Of course, in all other states that governors have decamped into the APC, except for the case of Plateau State and River State, all the governors that joined the APC became leaders of the party in those states. Of course, the impression now is that there is resistance to Governor Dauda Lawal becoming the leader of the party in the troubled Zamfara State. Oyo State governor appears to be the only governor of the PDP who will remain in the PDP. Early this week or early last week, depending on when you are hearing this commentary, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Governor Bala Mohammed, is said to have held several discussions with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and may be on his way to the APC too. It will be recalled that the Governor Bala Mohammed had made overtures to the former president, President Muhammadu Buhari, to join the APC. But of course, when the governor of Yobe State took Yakubu Dogara, the former speaker, to see the president then, the president decided at that moment to announce that Yakubu Dogara had decamped into the APC. And the decamping of Yakubu Dogara into the APC evidently blocked the way for Governor Bala Mohammed to go into the APC. President then did not think that it was worth wasting his time wooing Governor Bala Mohammed to join the APC because Yakubu Dogara had joined the APC. And then if by the time Governor Bala Mohammed joins the APC, probably in March or after the fasting period, the PDP will be left only with one governor, that is Governor Seyi Makinde. The fact that Governor Seyi Makinde is still in the PDP does not actually mean that the PDP will still be the way it had been, because Governor Seyi Makinde leads a faction different from the one that is led by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and the leader of the G5, which Governor Seyi Makinde was a member of. So there have been reports in the media that Governor Seyi Makinde had made overtures to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to become his deputy or vice president should the ADC field the former vice president as his presidential candidate. Even though in the realm of rumors in politics, that is a possibility, but yet to be seen what electoral value adding a Yoruba man to the ticket of the ADC at this time will bring to the ADCs. But to be clear, the PDP has become a chef of its former self, even though both factions are working hard to give the impression that they are in charge. The fact of the matter is that as at today, the PDP only has 3 governors. Seyi Makinde, who is said to be in discussion with the ADC, Dauda Lawal and Bala Mohammed, who are also said to be in discussion with the APC national leader. And so that is where the PDP is today. But that is not just the problem of the PDP. As at today, it is not just the government houses that have removed the PDP flags. Even in the National Assembly, the PDP appears to be disappearing. At the time, that is May 2023, when National Assembly was inaugurated. According to the information on Wikipedia, the National Assembly membership looked as follows. The 10th Senate had between 56 to 58 senators who were APC members. PDP had between 29 and 39 seats. Labour Party had between 6 to 7 seats. The New Nigeria People's Party had 2 seats from Kano. SDP 2 seats. ABGA YPP had 1 seat each. And in the House of Representatives, the APC had between 162 to 175 seats. The PDP 102 to 118 seats. Labour Party had between 34 to 35 seats. NNPP had between 18 to 19 seats. And other parties such as the ABGA, SDP, ADC, YPP had approximately 10 seats, making up the 360 members of the House of Representatives. However, as of today, most members of the opposition parties in the National Assembly have decamped or left their parties and joined the All Progressive Congress. As a matter of fact, some people believe that as of today, the APC has 2/3 members of the Senate. In the House of Representatives also, most members of the Labour Party, the NNPP, ABGA, ADC, YPP, and even PDP members have abandoned their seats and decamped into the APC. And it is also thought that as at today, the APC has perhaps 2/3 majority of the members of the House of Representatives. Now, what are the implications? To be clear, the first implication is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appears to be the most powerful president Nigeria has ever produced from 1960 to date. No person that has ruled Nigeria, I think, has had such absolute majority in both the 2 chambers of the National Assembly as well as in the states or regions, the time we had regions. We always had a situation where powers, our centers of influence were dispersed, and there were many centers of influence. There were many centers where people held different types of authority and power. But at this point in our history, we have a situation where the president has absolute majority to test majority of the members of the National Assembly and also of the state houses of assemblies, because in all the states of the country, the state houses of assemblies don't wield any power. They kowtow or follow the instructions that the governors give them, except, of course, in the case of Rivers State, where we had the political leader, so to say, of Rivers State being different from the governor. And he therefore controlled the members of the State House of Assembly. And that situation only occurred in Kaduna State in 1979, when the members of the State House of Assembly, controlled by the National Party of Nigeria, NPN, decided to impeach the governor who was elected and on the platform of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, that is Alhaji Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa, because the NPN members then had to test majority of the members of the State House of Assembly. Today, the APC controls 30 government houses. The only government houses that are not controlled by the APC are those of Osun, whose governor moved from the PDP into another party to enable him, court party, I think, to enable him contest the election. And then Abia State, that is controlled by the Labour Party. And Anambra State, controlled by Abga, whose governor, the former central bank governor, has already vowed his support for the presidential ambition of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then the two northern PDP governors, that is Bala Mohammed and Lawal Dada of Zamfara, who are said to be on their way into the APC, and the governor of Oyo State. So now we have unarguably the strongest and most powerful president that Nigeria has ever had. What is your view about the unfolding political situation in Nigeria? Do you think that it is good for Nigeria, or do you think that, as some people argue, Nigeria will be better if we have a strong man ruling it? My name is Remande Shawulu. This is The Other Side.